Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily study IQ lesson of the Hindu analysis. In the morning these videos come, in the evening the PIB videos come. And how are you people? Because yesterday it was not a lesson, and today we are going to cover everything from tomorrow's newspaper as well as from today's newspaper, and some important facts, some important details we are going to cover, and many MCQs. I am giving you many MCQs we are discussing here because these are extremely important from the prelims point of view, because this is the Sunday session and it is totally exam oriented session for prelims 2019. So let's start with the lesson, and these are the numbers there. You can call and you can ask for these pen drive courses by StudyIQ, and updated UPSC one is also launched. All these courses are also there. Call on these numbers and you can bring them at your home and study peacefully. Don't distract with anything. Now the MCQ one that I gave to you. Denmark topped the world happiness report. No, it is not correct. Finland is the country that topped this list. These are Scandinavian countries, and always you find them on the top of almost all the lists, all the indexes. Finland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, these are extremely progressive countries. They don't pay much attention to these religious or divisional things and all, and their whole focus is on a proper citizenship, a proper country, a well managed country, educated country. A lot of scholars, a lot of novelists, writers, they come from these countries like Iceland, Norway, Nobel Peace Prize and all. They all are coming from the country of Norway, Sweden, and these countries, and they appreciate education a lot, and they appreciate these peace steps and the important initiatives by international organizations, national organizations, governments. They all understand these things very well, and they all become stakeholders in executing these plans. So that's the reason that you find these countries on the top of the list, and the education level is almost 100%. And here you see the condition of India. It is consistently slipping from these numbers. Now it has reached up to a new low of 140th number. Pakistan is at 67th rank, and China is 93, and Bhutan at 95, Nepal at 100, Bangladesh is 125, and Sri Lanka 130, and we are at 140. One of the worst countries we have become in the happiness indexes due to the rise in unemployment, pollution levels, and all these indicators of development, inequality. You see poverty everywhere, but the official claims, they tell a different story, but that doesn't matter because these things are apparent. Happiness is apparent, and you can easily recognize that. And you see, we have come into a league of the countries like Yemen, Syria, Botswana, and Venezuela. Although these are war-torn countries, but the condition of the poor in India, the crisis in agriculture, and the crisis of the whole population of youth who is roaming unemployed, that has brought this condition where we have reached up to 140th number, and that's really a scary number. That's really a thing, a cause of concern. So D9 is the correct answer here, because Denmark is not the country. It is on second position. First position is of Finland, and India is certainly at 140th mark, but it is not the largest rise. It is the largest fall since 2005 to 8 in the index that we have achieved. So we have slipped 7 positions. We were at 133rd mark last year here. Next, United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network, UNSDSN, that releases this index, and how happy these countries are. According to that, it actually evaluates these countries' rankings, and it only evaluated 156 countries this time. So not all the UN's countries, they are under it, and this statement would be a wrong one. This statement is correct because none of the major economic powerhouses, top 10 countries, they did not appear in the top 10 list. So only 2 is the correct answer here. First is a wrong statement. Third, OSIRIS-REx, asteroid Bennu. You can see in the picture, we all know where this asteroid belt is. Inner planets Mercury, Venus, and Earth, and then Mars, and then the asteroid belt is there. And after that, these giant planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus, Neptune, they are there. So these are 4 giants, and these are 4 terrestrial inner planets. And here is the asteroid belt, where small size rocky bodies are revolving around the sun. So they are also having their own orbits, and in this picture you can see here the Venus orbit is there, and around 2175 to 2199 there are very bleak chances that it may hit Earth. 1 out of 2700 chances are there that it may hit our Earth. So that we need to see, and before this particular time frame also there are some chances that it can be hit. So this is very important for us, and you see we all are concerned about these space expeditions, and we are sending these spaceships to these distant bodies like Pluto, the Kuiper belt, and these asteroids and all. Why? Because we want to know the traces of the life and how this solar system was created, because we have hypotheses, we have theories, we don't have practical evidences of anything. So we don't know how all these started, and there may be great chances to know that how life started, from where these virus, bacteria, all they came, and how the life got its start, whether it was in some rocky surface or it was in water. So we have hypotheses only. And you see the weathering process that is absent in these bodies in the solar system or in the universe, it is only there with Earth, because there are rains, chemicals, and sunlight, and all other physical factors are there which are responsible for the process of weathering, and that is not there. So any kind of evidence, these are intact on these bodies. And this OSIRIS-REx was sent by NASA in August 16, and after 2 years in December 18 it reached up to its surface, and it's a regolith explorer. It is gonna explore the surface of it. It is gonna collect the samples of its soil, of its rocky surface, and it will come back to Earth with these samples in 2023. So that is very fascinating a thing. And you see there have been many attempts before also, but this is the most ambitious one, and now they are finding a lot of new things, new discoveries are being there. Whatever they expected, there are many more than that, and that is why it has appeared again in the newspaper. So they may ask you about this OSIRIS-REx, the origin, spectral interpretation, resource identification, security, regolith explorer. So big the name is, and the agency was NASA. Next, you can see, and always remember the location and the things that I told you, and all these details regarding these space bodies, that is very important. Next, Lake Balkhash is in Kazakhstan. That is correct. Kazakhstan's capital is, it used to be Astana, but just 2 days back they passed this proposal, and on a famous leader's name, Nur Sultan, they have changed the name of Astana as Nur Sultan. So it is the new name of the capital of Kazakhstan. So these both are correct options, C both. You can see the map here: Kazakhstan, Russia, Mongolia, China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and you see the adjoining countries. These are very important because many questions have been there from this particular region, from this Central Asia to Western Asia region. You see Caspian Sea is here, and the Kazakhstan's borders are touching Caspian Sea here, and it is Uzbekistan, it is Kyrgyzstan, and this area you see in this map, it's very complex. These particular geographical territories, they are extending and they are intermingled among each other. So it's a very complex area, and they may ask you any question that longitude wise, where Lake Balkhash is it above India? So in the map you can see clearly it is above India, and it is Astana here, and the new name is Nur Sultan. So this is Kazakhstan, this is Russia, Caspian Sea, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and it is China. And you see Kazakhstan is not touching Mongolia here. There is a small space, and this particular boundary is with Russia and China. So Kazakhstan is not touching Mongolia anywhere. So these small things you always remember. And this is Aral Sea here on the border of Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. It has been counted under the UNESCO diary of memorable things, because in the future you would not see the Aral Sea on the map, because it is diminishing its territory, and only around 10% is left out of its original particular size. Only 10% is left, and it is vanishing very fast due to heavy evaporation. Next, IATA, a very important body for international airlines and all their management policies, their particular moves. It suggests a lot of things, and its headquarters is in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. That is a right statement. Second, Jet Airways. No, Jet Airways is facing many problems now, and out of 119, only 42 planes are flying for Jet Airways. Just today we got the news again in newspaper, and it is SpiceJet. That is the first Indian budget carrier to join the IATA. So SpiceJet is the first one, and over 290 airlines are the members of this IATA. So they may ask you about it, and the headquarters is in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Only one is the correct answer here. Next, Nowruz is the festival of Zoroastrians or the Parsi community, and they are mainly inhabitants of Iran region, the Persia region, which used to be there in the history. So it started from there, and Nowruz is a kind of a new year for Parsi community in India or the Zoroastrians. So D, none is the correct answer here. It is not related to Jews. Army worms, or the fall army worms as we call them. You see, it's a moth, and it's a larva stage of it, and it feeds on these crops, and it has become a very scary and very dangerous information for the farmers of India, because it has reached up to Asian countries, and in India also it is damaging crops, and it's a very dangerous form of a moth, because they can destroy many farms within one night, and their speed of devouring these crops, it's very huge. And they are native to Central Americas, mainly both these Americas, and not to Africa. So only one. No, sorry, it says that it attacks wheat family. No, it is mainly the maize crop that it attacks. It attacks other crops also, but maize is the main crop that it attacks. So both these statements are wrong. So D, none is the correct answer here. Now these are words that I found, and try their uses in sentences. Now we are going to discuss two important articles. One is on Afghanistan situation. We had discussed many articles on this issue last month. Around 5 to 6 articles we had discussed again and again, and all the situation explaining texts were there, and I explained to you the whole scenario, the whole situation of US withdrawal from there, rise of Taliban again, and how it is ruling the political landscape of Afghanistan today. And Afghan's government is actually facing a kind of a crisis there, because they do not have a major influence on Afghanistan's territory, its people, and many states, they are under a heavy dominance of Taliban today. And you see, when these countries, these big countries like US, Russia, UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they all are now bound to talk to Taliban separately, and Russia's help is also there, because out of the citizens of Afghanistan who were residing in Russia, out of their pressure only, Taliban came to tables. And you see, US also wants a respectable exit from here, a peaceful exit. Their aim was to establish a democratic, peaceful government in Afghanistan, but that is not possible because of the influence of Taliban today. And here Suhasini Heather says that with respect to India, it's a confusing situation, because we have a particular moral stand, and it's going on for decades now. We are totally against Taliban, its brutal ways, its ideology, and the way it has behaved with India. So we can never embrace or never appreciate Taliban's moves, but here it's a very different and bizarre situation, because officially we are against that, but in a way we are isolated, because these big countries like US, Russia, China, and all these countries, they are now having separate talks with Taliban, ignoring the Afghan government. So how do we decide about that situation? Mr. Zalmay Khalilzad, he was a special envoy. He is a special envoy of US for Taliban leaders, and US has just given him the task that anyhow make it possible, bring Taliban to table, and anyhow make this respectable exit possible for us. So for that he is going on a war effort. Now he came to India, he met with Indian leaders, but you see, our official stand is like that. We cannot embrace Taliban directly, but we sent our non-official envoy to these talks, but that was not of much help, because we need to clear the situation here, and that's also very clear that we cannot openly embrace Taliban ignoring Afghan government. Because we have great relations with Afghan government, their people, they are also pro-Indian, and now April 19 elections are due, but they have extended these elections up to September month, and you see Ashraf Ghani's government, that is under immense pressure. They all want India's participation there, and according to the Trump's South Asia policy also, he demanded that India would take active participation in this situation. But here Pakistan becomes much more important than India for USA, because of the Taliban's rise, because Taliban was pampered always, and it was actually raised by Pakistan only. So here Pakistan again comes to terms with USA, and India in a way is isolated here. When Khalilzad came to India, after that, in a bizarre move, our General Bipin Rawat, he said that we should jump on this bandwagon and we should also talk to Afghanistan here, but our official stand is totally opposite to that. So it's a difficult situation for us, but it's the writer says that we have some options here, because since 2001, where graduates number in Afghanistan was only close to 10,000, they have now risen to 3 lakh in number. So these are educated youth, and they embrace India as a country also. There are their students, many of their students, thousands of them, they are residing in India, they are studying in India. So India is a kind of a great help here, and India is a regional player, it's a big player, and in the future it would be a kind of a big help for Afghanistan's settlement. But here you see Taliban is totally against India's stand, and they criticize India on all platforms, especially in the matter of Afghanistan always, and that is always indirect, not direct attack on India. So we are wary of that situation. But you see, how do we go now? Because the people and the Afghan government, the democratic government, they are with us, but they don't wield any kind of influence there, and the majority and the political situation is in the hands of Taliban, and that we counter. So now we need to exploit whatever we have in our hands. 17 presidential tickets announced also has an India friendly face on it, and India must leverage its influence across the spectrum. That is the biggest suggestion here. And you see, Moscow process was there, where it became possible that Taliban is coming on the table. So we cannot afford to remain totally isolated in this particular situation. That is also going to be negatively impacting us, because we have Kashmir situation in the region, and these terror groups, they are working in a stealth manner, and indirectly they are connected with each other. So anyhow, if we ignore the situation of Taliban and engaging with Taliban, so maybe it would prove for us as a negative development. So we cannot ignore that, but we cannot embrace it totally. So we are more in favor of a democratic process there, and anyhow Afghan government, that should bolster its position. So we need to see, and despite all the many reasons for despondency, it is necessary that Indian strategists don't lose sight of the bigger picture here. India's long-standing relationship with the people of Afghanistan, this is a relationship nurtured by every government in New Delhi. We have been keeping this stand for decades now. We had invested $3 billion, and after 2001 we have invested actually close to $3 billion in Afghanistan. We helped in building their parliament building also, and a library also that was mocked by Trump. But we have helped them a lot, and that is why these people, they want India's help always. And the Pakistan situation is there because Pakistan is a kind of a enemy to Afghanistan today. They consider Pakistan as an enemy, but Taliban's position is strong, so that has no effect today. So we need to see, and we need to balance the situation out. Next article is going to be important for GS paper 1. GS paper 4 and an essay topic also. You see the situation today of India, political situation. We are becoming a right-wing country and with a very fast pace because of our backwardness. How we are backward? We just saw 140th rank is there, and mostly people are poor, and the real education is not there because most of them, maybe they have attended schools, but how much knowledge they have, how much knowledge of economy, how much knowledge of politics, how much knowledge of India's constitution, its values, its international relations, average person has. So that is why it's a kind of an intellectual crisis that we had also discussed in the past, and it's an ideological crisis also. We don't understand ideologies, and you see we always celebrate Gandhi Jayanti, Patel's Jayanti and Bhagat Singh Jayanti. Now it is the Punyatithi of Bhagat Singh. It was 23rd of March 1931 when he was hanged, and he became the most celebrated martyr of India. But do you know his ideology is totally different from the ideology that majority of Indians what they are following today. They are going towards communalism, and he was for communism. There is a great difference between communism and the communalism. Communalism is totally a negative thing. Communism has an aim of equality, and he stood for equality. In 1924, at the age of 17, he wrote Matwala, and it was a document regarding universal brotherhood. At the age of 17, he was writing about universal brotherhood, and in a very early age, he understood this aspect that India is a country that is a divided country. Religion, caste, everything is dividing us, and it's a suicidal path for this country, because when there are differences, we cannot move. We can never work together as a team or as a nation. We can never be united because these by birth differences are there, and we appreciate them a lot. We are always busy in appreciating and engaging with the divinity, but we don't care for worldly affairs which are actually affecting us in our life. But we are more caring about God or these spiritual aspects and these right-wing ideologies, and we become so foolish that we forget about the reality. What is the reality? Reality is religion does not matter much. Our real life, education, advancement, scientific development, scientific temper, they are the most important things today, but we ignore them, and we are ignoring them at best, and we have become experts of giving these arguments in the favor of right-wing ideology, and we have forgot the most important thing for this country, that the thing that we need is socialism. That thing that we need, that is communism, because there is extreme levels of inequality, and Bhagat Singh was totally against that. He said that inequality is eating this nation, and we all should strive for equality and equity. Two important words. Equality is a belief that we all should have, and we should all strive towards equality in our society, in our nation, and equity that we all should have in economic sense. We should have a collective ownership, and we all should have our stakes into that. But you see the condition here, the reality, 1% of Indians, they are having more than 50% of the wealth, and the actual numbers are way bigger than that. They are somewhere close to 70%. So are we following the path of Mr. Bhagat Singh? Always we hail them that Shahid Bhagat Singh, we will do that, and on the Facebook posts we post everything, and we talk about each and every aspect of nationalism, but we forget to follow his values, the values that he died for, the values that he fought for. We have forgotten those values. His values were communism, his values were regarding equality, and he confronted Lala Lajpat Rai also. He respected him a lot, and his fellows, they also respected him a lot. But when after Hindu Mahasabha came, and in 1920 is when Lala Lajpat Rai was inclining more towards their communal agendas and these forces, then Bhagat Singh said that it's a suicidal path, and I can never appreciate these kind of things, as Lala Lajpat Rai is a very senior leader, and I am nowhere close to him, and I have no right to talk about his particular moves, but that is totally against Indian idea. And you see, he actually confronted him in his moves, and he wrote something in his masterly essay, that was Why I Am an Atheist. He said that I became interested in these issues, where I came to know that people are more caring about the divinity, and they always abuse capitalism, but they don't see these Western countries, they do not appreciate these divisive things and the values that these people have. With them, they are progressing a lot. Maybe capitalism is bad, we need socialism, that is for sure, but these things where they are much more practical, and they do not appreciate these kind of foolishness, and that's why they are progressing. We should appreciate those things in a blind manner. We cannot reject everything of the West. So that was a progressive thing, and that is perfectly right. Whatever you see in the phase of post-independence India, what is one thing that has hindered everything in the name of progress, that has hindered education, that has hindered our health conditions, that has hindered our demographic measures? These are all these foolishness, social biasness, and these divisions, religion, caste. These are the factors that has held us back. Otherwise, we have no dearth of genius minds and these great people, but we do not appreciate them. And today, this is the condition of the 21st century, where we are going. We are fighting in the name of cow, we are fighting in the name of ideologies, personalities, and we are actually destroying all these personalities. This is the iconoclast culture. And here, the reality is in front of us, that the leader like Bhagat Singh, who is one of the most celebrated person of India, why he is missing in the last 3 to 4 years from the particular debates, popular debates, media debates? Because he followed communism, and that is never appreciated by the political establishment today. Because out of political reasons, they are only raising those issues which are against a particular party, a particular leader, but they do not understand it was not about the party system. When we got independence in the 1940s, 50s, it was not the parties, it was not the personalities, it was regarding this country. Whatever moves that those were taken, they were all towards India, and those were different ideologies, but all were going towards India's progress. But what we are doing today, with a single vote, for a single vote, for a single particular seat, they would do anything, they would go till any extent, and they can become so shallow. Even the biggest leaders today, they can become so shallow in their character, that is unimaginable. And they are hailing themselves as Deshbhakts, as they are doing something really great. Can you compare these leaders with today's leaders? Do you see the logic in their talks, the way they want to communicate here, and the message they want to spread here? The meaning of their message is that they are real patriots. That means, according to their ideology, Bhagat Singh was not a patriot, because he talked about these equalities and the communism mainly, and the socialism mainly. He was the member of HRA, and after he came, it became HSRA, Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. It was HRA, Hindustan Republican Army first, then it became Socialist Army. So according to today's leaders, Bhagat Singh was not a patriot, because this is the thing that they are spreading, this is the hate that they are spreading, this is the message that they are giving. So these are the realities that we need to understand today. Next news, Vice Admiral Karamveer, he is going to be the new Navy chief. And again, this convention has been broken, that they are not appointing the senior most. One other Vice Admiral Bimal Verma, he would be the senior most officer, but he is ignored, and Karamveer, Mr. Vice Admiral Karamveer Singh is going to be the next Navy chief. The same thing that we observed when government appointed General Bipin Rawat. He was also not the senior most person, but he was chosen. So these things are going on, and it is information for current affairs. Next information is very very important internationally. Many big articles are gonna come in the next week regarding this issue, because Italy has allowed the Belt and Road Initiative, and they have embraced all idea of this BRI of China. You see, Italy is a country in G7 group, and these are the most advanced countries in this world, and USA is the main country there, and US is totally against China. It is trying its best to limit the influence of China in this world. Whatever that is possible, they are doing that. They are involved in this tariff wars against each other. Again, they are negotiating, but anything as a move is going against each other, and here China is being embraced by Italy. That is a cause of concern for America. So many more articles are going to come on this issue, so we will discuss that later in this week. Next, the capital punishment issue that is being discussed in many articles. In the past we had talked about this issue, and you see in a major killing in New Zealand, in a mosque where 49 people were gunned down. Issue here is that they are not hanging this person, and they will keep him behind the bars for his life, and he would live his life behind the bars in an isolated manner. And you see, practically it is much more harsher a punishment, because this debate is going on that whether capital punishment is useful or not, and it is changing anything in the crimes world or not. But these things are apparent. And now see, you suppose a condition where one person has done this kind of heinous crime. Obviously it is a rarest of the rare crime. It is way beyond that. He has killed these people, and he actually showed this incident to the world, and it was aired live on social media platforms. So nothing can be more ghastly than that. But here he will be thinking about this thing for his whole life, because they would not let him die. They are not hanging him, and he will live his life in isolated manner. And you see, suppose a condition where one person is dead, and you have hanged this person, and in the second case, that person is kept in a isolated solitary confinement. So you can imagine what kind of pain there would be in both these conditions. In one case, pain is there for some seconds, and then it is done. And in this case, for lifelong, he would be behind the bars, and whatever aggression, whatever negativity he has inside himself, that would eat that person, and for his whole life. So it's a matter of GS paper 4. This debate is very important, and it's a very important topic for essay also. You can write a lot of things about that. It's a psychological issue, it's an issue of law, it's an issue of general perception, and it is the issue of human civilization and the culture also, that do we have that right to end somebody's life. Maybe it is by law, or maybe these are the rarest of the rare crimes, but do we have any other options? And brutality or all these things, in which way the person can be punished here. So New Zealand is giving a particular example here. Next, Syria vows to take back Golan Heights. As I had told you many times, I had given you map question on this issue, that Syria's western border, there is a particular a piece of land that is called Golan Heights, and that is taken by Israel as a country, because Israel is touching the border. And I asked you the question regarding the purple line, the green line, and this war where the Israel defeated all these countries, and Palestine was no more a country, and these territories that it acquired. First, it captured Sinai Peninsula, also Gaza Strip, and all these areas like West Bank and all. These all are controversial areas. So you should look at the map again and again, and you should look for the history also, because it has become a very controversial issue. Trump has made this issue very controversial again when it decided to shift the embassy from Tel Aviv, that is an important city, to Jerusalem, that is in West Bank, and no embassy is there in Jerusalem till now. But Trump declared that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. So everything from the Trump side is in favor of Israel, and these are extreme decisions, these are extreme moves. So that is why this becomes controversial in the international platform. And Golan Heights is there. It is part of Syria that is taken by Israel. So Syria is vowing now that we will take back Golan Heights from Israel at any cost. So in the future we may see many more controversies here. Next, center bans JKLF under anti-terror law. According to this law, center has been banning many groups. Jamaat Islami was also banned, and now this separatist group of JKLF, Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front, that is banned here, and Yasin Malik is the leader. And if you talk about this UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, it got the presidential assent on 30th December 1967. After that, these are amendments. In 2002, that POTA Act came, but that was withdrawn, and all these acts are going on. And according to these acts, center also arrested many people. Some of them were professors, academicians, and some people who are counted as think tanks of this country. And some of them were working for these tribal groups, and their particular links, according to them, were with Maoist and all. So those were also arrested. So this UAPA became very controversial last year also, and this thing is going on because whatever happened after Pulwama incident, center has been very harsh on these separatist groups, and that is a different debate, that whether they should ban these organizations. It is in favor of these solutions for the Kashmir problem or not. Do we have to isolate them, or do we have to engage them? So this thing is going on because in a political landscape of Kashmir, it is said that these separatist groups, they are important, and as a stakeholder we cannot ignore them. But whatever debates are there in the national medias of India, then here they are targeted a lot, and it's a different thing. So whatever is going on, we need to see that. Now the MCQs, try their answers in the comment section, and look for the additional data, additional details here. You may see many direct and indirect questions in the prelims this year, and again I'm telling you these things. Thanks a lot. PDF you will get on this group, and the Telegram's channel's link is also given here. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Saini.